Crystal balls don't work. Well, at least not in the way you think they do. Hi, my name is Christina. I'm a professional medium and spiritual educator, and today let's talk about crystal balls. What are they and how exactly do you use them? So let's say you are relatively new to spirituality, perhaps, and you decide, I'm going to look into crystal balls. It seems like that's a thing you see in TV and movies and TikTok and everywhere, really. So you go to your local metaphysical store and you pick up a crystal ball, and it probably looks a little something like this: a clear glass sphere. Except this isn't really what you would actually want to do any kind of scrying or divination with. The reason is, with it being so clear, there's no inclusions. There's essentially nothing to read. But I've seen people read with a clear crystal ball, you might be saying, so obviously it does work. Well, kind of. A lot of times people who use a clear crystal ball in order to scry or to divine any information are using it more as a focus point so that they can essentially download the information into their brain. It just gives them something to focus on. It's not going to be like you see in the movies where there's swirling smoke inside and you see all these crazy things coming together. This isn't what you're going to want, but if you want to use it as a focus point for meditation or something to sort of draw you in while you do some psychic downloads, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're just starting out and you really want to scry with a crystal ball, you're going to want something a little more akin to this. Now, this is a big ball of clear quartz. And as you can see, it's mostly see-through with a lot of inclusions and imperfections and colors and refractions. So how I would use this is I would put it on a stand, and my stand looks like this. It has a piece of velvet on it, and what this velvet does is it allows the ball to spin freely as I'm rotating it so it doesn't get all scratched. So I ask my question, and then I rotate it, and I look for any shapes or any other indications that would give me an answer to my question. For example, let's say I'm asking about why I haven't heard back from a job that I interviewed for example. What you would do is you would, rotate it on the stand, and maybe I see the shape of an old monster with a big mouth in it. Now, I know to me that means there are people in power that haven't really made that decision yet. And so I can go, okay, that's why I haven't heard. However, something to really keep in mind when you're doing this kind of scrying or using a crystal ball is it doesn't matter what the symbols mean to someone else. Scrying is a very personal practice. So if bats mean death and destruction to someone else, but they mean new life and coming out of the darkness for you, that is the piece that you go with, as long as you're not sort of playing a little fast and loose and trying to make things represent things that that they don't. Okay, that would be like drawing tarot cards over and over and over again until you get the answer that you want. To recap, a clear ball like this, not particularly great for scrying, but it does have a place in meditation and focusing and giving somewhere to really hone in on while you essentially download information from the universe. But if you want something to really look at and actually divine information from, you're going to want a crystal more like this, where it's mostly clear with some inclusions that you can read. Now, this is a pretty big one. You don't have to have one that's this size. It's my hands aren't huge, so this is a little bigger than a softball. But you don't have to have one that size, and I need everyone to hear me on that. For example, here is a piece of honey calcite. It's mostly clear with some inclusions. As you can see, it's pretty small. I can palm it. So this perfectly fine. And as you practice, you will find that then you can even do ones that aren't clear as long as they have some kind of patterning or reflections, something that you can look at the different shapes and be able to divine what those shapes indicate. If you want to know more about how to develop your own spiritual practices, you can find me at themysticoak.com, where all of my classes, readings, and mentorship are listed. Have you tried scrying before? How did it go? Do you prefer an absolutely clear ball, or have you gone over to something more like this? Let me know in the comments.